Hey, hey, welcome to the Let's Glow Show. It's Amanda Sweet, the Creative Fairy Godmother. And every single week we go live with a super dope entrepreneur, creative, and business owner. And this week is no different from the rest of them. We have a super amazing human being who I actually believe this is our first time doing an official one-on-one.
Yeah.
Welcome, Tay.
Hi. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yes.
As cliche as that is, but seriously, I'm so excited to be here.
I know. I'm ready. And I love the Adele reel.
I was waiting full fucking glam on a Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning. I was like, should I switch the whole show to be on Thursday just so everybody could do this every single week? Anyway.
Here for it.
But thank you for being here. I'm so excited to chat with you. Tell us all of your titles, all of the beautiful things that you do.
Okay, so I'm Taylor Renee Miller-Goulait. I have a very sing-songy name, but you can call me Tay. So I'm the co-founder and owner of Monarch Coaching, which is like a leadership development organization that we have with my partner in crime, my also co-founder, but her name's Erika Rivera Jaramillo, or Erica, if you speak proper English. And with that, we do everything from like online trainings to in-person workshops. So we do a little bit of everything, but we can talk more about that later. And then what else I do is with Angela Buccellato, who is the owner of the Resume Rescue. Her and I have we call it the Passion to Purpose community, or the community for short, which you've been super integral in. So thank you for that. So that's kind of like we don't really love the term networking, but it's basically a networking group. But to make really intentional connections instead of having, after hours at a bar where you're drinking and talking to the same people or getting hit on by creepy guys, it's going to be a little bit more intentional with workshops or guest speakers coming in to kind of present on maybe what they do for work or how they can help other local business owners or even just professionals in the area too. I'm a cat mom of two, Finnegan and Marceline. They are named after Adventure Time, which is one of my favorite cartoons. And they're so cute. They're sleeping and I did not want to let them in because they would be all over me.
Are they like black and orange?
So black, Marceline is the vampire queen. She's the best. She's my all black kitty cat. And then she's the sweetest animal ever. And then I have Finn, who is my adventurer. He's younger and he's a tabby. So like black and brown with kind of an orange belly. He's adorable, but he's annoying. So
I love it. I've watched Adventure Time like 4 times.
It's just one of those shows where it has some elements of adult humor in there. So my dad loved watching cartoons. So he was watching it on Cartoon Network one day. And I remember living at home with my parents and I was like, what is this show? It's so funny. Right. But anyway, and then I am a wife as of this year. So my husband and I have been together for 12 years. But we just got married in April of this year. So that's where
why?
What's that?
Any particular reason why? Because I got a couple friends that are in like long-term relationships that are maybe one day.
Yeah.
But they're at the 12 mark. So just to give them a glimmer of hope. Like, why did you wait so long?
So I'm going to be honest. He's my best friend. I love him. I cannot picture living without him. And I know he feels the same about me, but I needed health insurance this year because I left my full-time corporate job and I was like, we got to get married. It's not very romantic and I want to get married to you and I love you, but I need health insurance. So in April, we eloped very small. We paid $15 to get married at the Troy courthouse here. And then we did like a little intimate brunch at one of our favorite restaurants, and we live in Clawson, so we kept it very local, very small. It was very sweet. Yeah.
So like before then you weren't like wedding hungry?
No, I've never been I don't like to celebrate me. I shouldn't say it like that because I freaking love my birthday, and I'm like, when it's my birthday, it's all of August. I'm a Leo, so obviously I love my birthday. Yeah.
That explains a lot.
Yeah. Right.
One
I love talking to
comment
people.
makes a
Like
lot of sense to me.
I
Okay.
do have a
And
lot of Leo energy.
I'm a
Hmm.
Capricorn, and Capricorns and Leos like click like that. So
We
like
vibe.
it makes
I
sense.
love it.
Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. But I've just never I don't like planning things to celebrate myself. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's something about that where I'm like, I would rather save the 10 grand and just, like I said, spend $15 at the courthouse and not have to worry about a credit card bill that I can't really afford. So, and the both of us have been very chill. And I think it's one of those things like we have a house, we bought a house together, we have 2 cats together.
y'all were already married.
Yeah, like it's kind of
Yeah.
already there. It just wasn't legal, you know?
Right. And you're like,
So.
now I need the benefits, so we're gonna go do this.
Right. And so we'll get a tax break this year. Yay.
Yay!
But
I love that. Okay,
yeah.
that's great. Like I was not, and we'll go back to the professional, but I feel
Oh yeah.
relationships parts is important because I feel like, especially with women, like I don't know, all the panels that I see with like women empowerment and women leaders are kind of like, you gotta sacrifice your relationships and
Not at
blah,
all.
it's like that old school. It's kind of like the women version of like the what is it? Like the wife jokes that the men make.
Yeah.
Like the ball and chain thing, but on
Yeah.
panels it's like you gotta sacrifice and blah 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 blah. And it's like I love hearing that you're like, it was chill. We loved each other. It was dope. We watched cartoons together.
Literally. Yeah.
Health insurance and nothing changed. It was great.
Epitome of our lives is we love each other and we watch cartoons together. That's exactly what we do. And
Love
cuddle with our cats.
except we don't have cats because we have allergies. But
Oh.
if we didn't have allergies, we would have cats. We have plants instead. But we love cartoons. We love hanging out and just he is literally my best friend. So
I love that. You guys are so cute together too. I love that he'll like dress up with you. Nathan would never do that. I mean, he would, but
so he like
not to the extent that your husband does.
best, and then he understands that like clothing is part of my artistry. I
Yeah.
think it clicked for both of us this year because I was going to the Femology Friendsgiving and I was running late and I know it's a perpetual like you hate people that run late, but
I don't hate people that run late. I can't be late. I get stressed out when I'm late.
it's the habit of being late or whatever. You're punctual. I'm not.
It's okay.
It's part of it is because I'm constantly trying to figure out how to put the outfits together. And he said something to me like as I was like, rage dressing. And
Yeah.
he's just like, it's part of your artistry. Like clothing and style is part of your artistry. And I was like, oh my God, like you get it. Now
Yeah.
and I was like, this makes so much sense. I just need to make more time for my art. But he lets me like he'll put the bass on and then I'll be like, we're gonna do all of the things.
Work my fairy godmother.
Yes, exactly.
Magic.
But he knows that the clothes is part of what brings me joy. So he's
And if you go somewhere and you're not wearing something that makes you feel confident, you're not going to be your best self there. So I get that. You just taught me something because I will say this, the one thing about Nathan, my husband, that drives me insane, and he knows this. Of course he knows this. Is he is obsessed with clothing, like clothes. He dresses very well. He buys, honestly, we get a package in the mail at least once or twice a week of something, a pair of shoes or more pants or whatever. But he takes so freaking long. And with punctuality being one of my triggers, like he will probably put on 15 different outfits before we leave the house.
Yes.
But I know that he does it because he's like, this doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel right. And I'm just like, I have to be more patient now because that is part of his artistry. Is that what you said? Like the artistry,
yeah,
like the creativity,
like dressing well. And
yeah,
like my husband is like you. He's a very punctual person. He calls it Vector time. His mom was in the Air Force, so like they're always 15 minutes before the 15-minute early point. And I am not that, but he's taught me a lot. And like, he's really patient with me. He's the only person in my life that's actually patient with my like inability to keep track of time. Because he's patient with me, I don't get triggered.
Right.
And then I am like more conscious of the time. I'm like, he's waiting for me patiently. he'll go play his piano or something like that. But like,
Um,
I'm getting better at my time formulas.
yeah.
Every single time I have to do something, I'm like, help me with my time math. He'll be like, okay, well, how long is it going to take you to get there? And he's like, pull up the map. And I'm like, 35 minutes. He's like, okay, so it's going to take you 40 minutes to get there. It's going to take you 1 hour to get ready. You're going to snooze for 30 minutes plus 30 minutes. He's like, what time do you have to wake up? And I'm like, just tell me. He's like, what time do you have to wake up?
You do the math.
He's like, you can do it. I'm like, just tell me.
Oh, that's so funny. That's when Nathan and I first started dating. I did that with him because he would tell me I'm going to be at your house because we used to live like 45 minutes away from each other when we were living at our parents' houses.
Yeah.
And he would always be like, I'm going to be at your house at 3 p.m. And he wouldn't show up until like 5. And I would be so furious. And I have that like, there's like a term, I don't know if it's like in a different language, but when you're anxiously waiting for someone to arrive, I got to look that term up, but I would be like sitting there looking out the window. I'm like, just so, I don't know why, like, it's just in my head that I'm like, you said you were going to be here at 3 and now you're not at 3. And I don't know if you're dead. I don't know if you don't care. That's just where my brain goes.
Yes.
But I did the same thing, like what your husband does with you, where I was like, okay, you live 45 minutes away. That means you live an hour away. So it takes you like an hour to get ready. So I literally did the same breakdown. He's gotten so much better with his timing though. He's good. Yeah, it's much better. It's just when we leave and he's got to get dressed.
Exactly. Like, have patience with us. Like, we mean well. We don't mean it.
Right.
It's the ADD brain. It's it's all the things, but we want to be punctual. We want to. That is the truth. Like, we want
for sure. I get it. And he's never been like diagnosed with ADD, but he gets like super hyper focused on different things and starts projects and doesn't finish them. And sorry, I don't mean to be bashing my husband. He probably won't watch this anyway. He doesn't like watching me on.
It's not bashing. It's just the reality of life and being a linear person in a relationship with someone who is like zigzaggy. It's just part of our experience. Like, I am the zigzaggy person in our relationship, and he's really good at handling that. And that it's a dynamic that a lot of people have, and it's not bashing. It's just the reality that it's like, as someone who's linear or someone who's punctual, you probably like to complete projects. You probably to put a cap on it and be like, that's done. Check it off my list.
Tie a nice bow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's the way your brain works. Yep. And that's a good thing. And that's probably why you guys are attracted to each other. Because he gives you a little spontaneity and you give him a little structure. And together you're just like beautiful, harmonious, wonderful couple, I'm sure.
Well said. Yes. We are. It's been 12 years and we weren't like married for over half of that. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Enough about husbands. As much as we love them.
I do love my husband.
Yes. Okay. So let's talk a bit about your businesses. You've got 2 businesses up and running. I heard that you said you got 3 jobs.
Yeah.
Is that including the 2 companies?
No.
Okay.
So
I'm like, dang.
I know. So when I left my corporate job, I was like living off of my 401k. That's how I kind of started my business, was I just took out the money that I had, which if you are thinking of starting a business and you have enough money to live off of that, I highly recommend doing it because I think it was a good move for me.
Like, I just want to stop there. That was like penalized, not allowed.
It is.
Okay. So like, how did you come up with that decision, and like, how did you manage that? Because I feel like I've never heard anybody say that to me directly. Like, I
recommend you delete your retirement fund, basically.
But you are retired from that particular role and you're transitioning into another. But like, what did you learn from that experience?
I will tell you this, and I will give credit where credit's due. So my vice president from where I came from, she's a very good friend of mine. I'm very close with her. Her name is Renee Harmon. So she knew that I was planning on starting my own company when we were working together. She knew it for like about a year, and she's an incredibly supportive woman. And if you don't really know her, do you know Julie Seymour at all? Mm-hmm. She was in like Royal Oak Chamber of Commerce. Well, so that's her wife. But so the 2 of them together have just been like very integral in my planning and starting and the idea of having a business. And when I told Renee this, the biggest thing that was stopping me was money. Like I wasn't necessarily living paycheck to paycheck when I was there, but I also was like, I wasn't saving anything either. So she helped me a lot with the financial planning part of it. And at one point she was like, what's in your 401k? And I was like, I didn't even know I could consider taking that out. And she's in her 60s now, and she's been great with money. She's a very responsible adult. So when I heard her saying, why don't you just take your 401k out? And I had some stocks with the company that I worked at too. Like, why don't you just like take your stocks out and everything? So I did. And I had enough money to live off of for about 6 months with that.
Oh.
And the cool part was also I got fired technically from my job. So, which is a whole nother story. But because of that, though, I was able to collect unemployment. So if you're thinking of starting a business, take your 401k out and get fired from your job, and you can get unemployment. That's the way to do it.
Oh my God. I couldn't even imagine firing someone like you. That must have been like a huge, I don't know. Like,
it was a very interesting.
We don't have to talk about it.
We have conspiracy theories about it. I mean, I can talk a little bit. It was just a very.
Was like conspiring in your favor, because it sounds like you.
For sure.
That.
And there's a part of me that kind of thinks that was a little bit kind of true in a way of like, okay, well, I don't know. Like okay, do you want me to tell? I'll share the story of how I got fired.
I got ready to go.
So I worked here. I worked at this company. Loved working at this company for like 5 years, a little bit less than 5 years. And I worked my way up from a coordinator, which is basically scheduling and just mostly scheduling and planning out different coaching sessions for leaders to meet with their leadership coach, and scheduling leadership trainings for different leaders, a lot of logistics. And then I grew into like more of a creative role and that role. So I was balancing instructional design is what it's called, which is the people that make the PowerPoints and the workbooks and all those cool, like fun activities and stuff. I was the person that was making all those. And then I just kept taking on additional responsibilities. So long story short, I ended up leading a team there. So going from like very entry level to leading a team of instructional designers and coordinators.
Wow.
And I directly reported to Renee, my VP. Her and I worked very well together, because you talk about someone who's zigzaggy. She's a zigzaggy person. So, and I'm a very like, I don't know if that's she was a great big idea person. And I would be like, let's see if we can make that idea actually work. Which a lot of times we did. We made it work. But so I say all that to kind of just, I was a very integral part of growing that team. It was the leadership development team. It was, we trained everybody from very entry-level leaders, who were kind of my specialty, up into like the executives. And we would coach them and train them. And we grew that team. There was only 4 of us when I started there, and there were 17 when I left. And it was such we still hang out. We still keep in touch with each other. We're very close. All of us are very close. So loved what I did. Loved that whole thing. I happened to share I was on a cruise vacation in the middle of the ocean, having a cocktail, enjoying myself.
Yeah.
Someone from the company was also on that cruise ship, and we were talking about something, and I said, oh my God, I know someone that also applied for that job. That's what I said. I said the person's name, and I got back to work that Tuesday, and they let me go for that.
For that? What?
I got back. I put in my 3-week. I give them a 3-week notice because I wanted to set my team up for success. I had 7 direct reports, but in reality, I kind of had like 17 direct reports because I had a co-lead, but he was traveling quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I put my 3-week notice in. I was like, let's get a game plan for how this is going to happen. I just told my team I'm leaving, and they were all like crying, bittersweet. They're happy for me. You're starting a business. This is great. And then like a couple hours later, I get called in, and HR is sitting there, and poor Renee was sitting there bawling her eyes out. And I'm like, either Nathan, because Nathan also works there, either Nathan's getting fired or like someone died. And they were like, we're going to be, what did they say? We're going to exercise our right to terminate your employment because you shared information with someone while you were on a cruise ship in the middle of the fucking ocean. Sorry for my language.
What? That's and this is after you put in your 3-week notice.
This is the day that I put it in.
Wow.
So there's something there that I'm like, I don't, and I was very well known, very well liked.
Yeah, that's like,
it was just a weird.
It's like, I quit. No, you're fired. Like,
yeah. But I think the funny thing is that they wanted to give a reason to just let me go, but they only could come up with, oh, you said something that someone had applied for a job.
So that person also was participating in that conversation. Did that person get like,
no?
This is why we have to leave toxic companies. Because like, and that's leadership down. That's the problem. It's like your direct manager was bawling their eyes out because they knew it was wrong.
Oh, she knew. But there was a part of her, she was like, you're going to be fine and you're going to get unemployment, which is even going to be better. So, yeah, that was one of the hardest days in like my working career that I had. And I had been demoted before too.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of struggle stories, but.
And so how do you cope with, like, how did you get from some of those struggle story situations to owning your own businesses? Like,
I'm insane. What's that one? There's like a meme and she's like, delusion. That's that pops in my head all the time.
Were you like constantly like, fuck it, whatever, I'm going to just launch my business, I'm going to be successful? Or did you like go through like.
There's a lot of therapy sessions. Shout out to my therapist too. Yeah.
A therapist. That's exactly what I wanted to know, because I feel like I've gone through some scenarios like that, not necessarily with work, but like passion projects.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my current boss and owner, I was like, I'm scared that I'll never leave because all of the great entrepreneurs that I know have gotten fired, and I don't know how to do that.
I didn't know how to get fired either. Apparently, tell someone something very minuscule.
But the fact that I said that to her, she was like, "Okay, well, we need to focus on your business then." And I was like, "Okay, I don't want."
I love that.
Like, I don't want to get fired, but I hear this story a lot. Like, Angela's got a similar story.
Yeah.
Owner Amanda Lawan, owner of Bamboo, has a very similar story.
Wow.
How did you get from, oh my God, this was like one of the hardest days of my career as an adult, to where you are now?
You know, a lot of it for me has been like the first time that I got demoted, this is a funny story, was because I was fraternizing with the employees because I was going out with drinks and I was dating Nathan and he worked with me. This was at Banana Republic. So like I worked there for 7 years. So I actually really liked working there too. I like working though. So
yeah.
But
I have 3 jobs.
Yeah, we'll get into those too, because one of them is actually kind of cool. So I was a visual merchandise manager for years for Banana Republic, which was a really fun, creative job, but it was a lot of overnights because it's the in-store visual merchandiser, not the fun corporate one where you're like designing it. It's like I'm actually building the shit and doing it. Mm-hmm. So Nathan and I met because we were working overnights together like every single Sunday for like weeks and months. So I worked there at that store for 6 months, and he was one of my direct reports, but I was like, oh my God, you're so cute. And we're spending literally overnight hours, like 8 hours overnight together and like going crazy and losing our minds.
Right.
At 3 a.m. By the time 3 a.m. would roll around, we would just be completely out of our mind.
It sounds like a rom-com movie.
The first interaction that I had with him, because he has like a weird sense of humor, which is obviously why we get along so well. But I was on the top of like a 12-foot ladder, leaning over, putting this giant decal on the wall, like, you know, the ones where you have like the vinyl stickers, you have to like scrape the hell out of them to get them to stick. Yep. And I was doing that and I was sweating and it's like 2 a.m. and I'm just like pissed. I'm just I'm irritated. Yeah. I'm not a morning person. I'm not a 2 a.m. person at all. Right. And all of a sudden I just hear, and I look down and he was laughing hysterically. And I was like, did you just freaking whistle at me? And I had that mentality of like, I am your boss. You do not do that to me. No. And then ended up going to dinner with him like that same a week, and then went from there.
Oh, I love it. That's so funny.
But anyway, so I pulled into the office. I was 21 and they told me, you're getting demoted and sent to a lower level store because you've been fraternizing with the employees. So I was a visual merchandise manager. I got demoted to employee and just sent to a different store that was not doing very well, and ended up working my way up to an assistant store manager at that store. And again, I like working.
Yeah.
And so I worked in retail for 10 years before I had my leadership development, like corporate job. And I had always just I excelled in that role. I think because I really like working with people, but I just really like working. So I would always
like you're good at getting people to feel comfortable and open up and really lean into themselves.
Thank you.
Also lean into yourself, because like taking on leadership roles, I feel like we're kindred spirits in this way. Like anywhere I enter, like just somehow I'm like, how did I get the keys?
Like, why am I responsible for this?
Yeah, why am I not responsible for everyone, even though I like started off as an hourly intern, but
yes. Yeah.
Just badass, ambitious women. That's what that is.
Yeah. I'm bossy.
Authoritative. It's like, okay, so I just started listening to this book this morning. One of my amazing mentors, Mimi Brown, she's the president of the National Speakers Association of Michigan. Shout out to Mimi Brown.
Cool.
We were on the phone yesterday and she was like, you need to listen to this book called Rocket Fuel. Have you heard of Rocket Fuel?
Mm-mm.
So I literally just started listening to it while I was doing my makeup this morning, so I didn't get that far in. But basically it's talking about how there's the visionary, and the other word is, it starts with an I. Not innovator, but like you said it earlier. You said at the time when you were working with Renee, that was your previous boss?
Yeah. Yes.
There's like the person. Keep going.
Integral?
No.
Okay.
So there's the person that has all of the big ideas, the big vision, and then there's the person that can make the vision possible.
Okay.
The details person.
Yeah.
And then the visionary person.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you like to get shit done. And it sounds like you're that person. And it'll come to me by the time I finish the book.
I know. Now I'm trying to think of what word I used.
I gotta look, because basically they're saying that like without those two parts of the puzzle, most businesses are not successful, because either the person that's the visionary just can't execute and get it to a place where, the integrator, the visionary, the integrator. You were so close.
Yeah. Yes.
This is called Rocket Fuel, the book that I'm listening to. But it's basically going to break down those two roles, why they're important, how to find the perfect one. And it sounds like you're really good at seeing the big picture, understanding how it works, understanding how to get shit done and get people to do it for you. Really good manager, really good active
delegators.
Yes, like someone that gets people to move, versus the person that's like, we're passionate about this. This is what's possible. Here's where we're going to get, and we can get there, but that person's living over there.
Yeah.
We need the person that's here to get us there. So the integrator.
Yes, I like that. I do think a lot of why I do what I do is I get so much satisfaction from completing a project. Like I love things like I love painting a house because you can see the finished product. I love wrapping a present because you can see the finished product. I love stuff like that. And if I start a project, I will finish it. So we should connect on this too, because I like to sew, but my sewing machine's been broken for like 5 years and I'm just too lazy to take it in.
It's fine.
But I actually have a bust form literally right here.
I love it. So you know how to sew, or okay.
I do. So I went to Wayne State for like a semester and then I dropped out of college. So that's another fun fact of me, is that I like finishing things, but I hated school. So I dropped out of school.
It's too long.
But I went in for fashion merchandising. So I took a very cool sewing class basically, but my machine's been broken, honest to God, probably since I moved into my house 6 years ago. So
What kind of phone is it?
the singer.
Just get a new one. Is it like a vintage one?
No, it's not. It's not a vintage one. I got it probably when I was like 15 years old. So it's about like 17 years old.
If you're not gonna like go find the machinist that's gonna fix it, you're probably
There's one in Madison Heights. There's one that's pretty close actually, but I just don't know how much it's gonna be.
If it's over $250, just buy a new one.
That's yeah.
Like
I think that's accurate.
Like that are, I wouldn't say go cheap. Like, so my instructor, Robin, the owner of Ivy's Custom Corsetry, shout out to CCS and the education program. So that's where I've been taking my sewing classes, but with Robin.
Oh, I want to do that. I want to take classes.
They're like $50. She's got her sewing one starting at the end of January.
I'm doing it.
I did
where's all my stuff to write down? I stacked it underneath my camera.
At CCS, but also it's like in the fashion building. So if you're a fashion junkie like I am, it's just so inspiring to be around all the mannequins and the fabrics and the zippers and the shoes. And like they have their like shoe section. They have like a big, like all these reams of like different zippers, and they have all the student presentations up. Like, yes, it's 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning, but it's like you're in a space where you can create and you're around other people that are in that same. It's just it's different and totally worth it. But she would tell you, don't buy a cheap one. She would tell you buy something that's metal.
Yeah, I know this is crappy plastic, and it's plastic. Yeah.
But I have a plastic one. But her number one piece of advice was like, if it's got a computer in it, it's too much.
Mine does not, thank God.
Yeah, but a lot of things you'll see now, like if you go shopping
to do embroidery and shit like that. Yeah, I don't do any of that stuff.
No, and it's the same as the knobs and the wheels, but it's now a computerized mechanical. The mechanical will last you longer, is what she was. But I love that you're like that you did fashion merchandising, you worked in retail for so long. So like how do you incorporate that into your life now? I need to know.
Well, I love clothes. I've always loved clothes. So I'm not like I'm not very knowledgeable about fashion. I'm not going to lie. I just love kind of what we were saying earlier in the show is I just love feeling confident and comfortable with what I'm wearing. I have a very neutral palette. Like you and I are like yin and yang when it comes to clothing, I think, because you are so vibrant and like, but yes, like you're a zigzag and I'm a straight line. I say that as a term of endearment for both of us.
Exactly. Like I saw something I'm not super knowledgeable about fashion either. I just am passionate about clothes.
Yeah.
And like texture. I love texture and color and stuff like that. And now that I'm learning how to sew, it's definitely becoming more of a passion, and the revamp, the sustainable clothing swaps, of course. But I saw this video the other day and it was talking about color palettes for people. And it makes sense that you have a neutral color palette because they were saying that people who have a lack of, so your hair color is similar to your skin color. So if you were to do bold, bright colors and like color blocking, it would drown you out.
Yeah.
Hair, like, I can't remember what she said, what the terminology was, but because my hair is so starkly different from my skin tone, I will be washed out with a neutral palette.
Oh yeah, I can't picture you wearing neutral, like this sweater. I could not picture you wearing something like this without like a big necklace or like a hat or something.
Something crazy, because it was close to my skin color and it would just drown me out and I would look tired. I know when I wear the wrong things because people are like, "Are you okay?"
You look tired.
Like, you look tired. I'm like,
thanks, asshole.
But it makes sense. Like you're blonde with the light skin, and it like you pop more when you're in neutral palettes. Which is what we want. You know, you to pop. Yeah, not that.
So funny. Yeah.
I love that. I had no idea.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, this is going to be interesting to see what comes out, because I feel like we have a lot more in common than I would have thought.
Absolutely.
But like seeing you sewing on your Instagram and stuff like that, I was like, oh, I'll have to share some of the costumes that I've made.
What costumes have you made?
Okay, so we would go to Theater Bazaar in Detroit every year. It was closed this year and I was so sad. But I've made well, my company's name is Monarch. This is years before. I made a blue Monarch like cape one time, and I had like a turban, like almost kind of 1920s gypsy-esque type. Like, I know that term's not PC anymore. I don't know what other term, fortune teller type term. I
Sure.
don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. Sorry if I just offended anyone. I'm still learning.
It was not malicious. It was unintentional.
Yes. So I did that. I've been a wind-up doll. So I made like a doll dress, an apron. I do like taking already made stuff and turning it into other things. I'm just gonna have to like show you a bunch of the pictures because I've made.
We're gonna have to play. You're gonna have to come see my basement because it's filled to the brim. Have you gone to Arts and Scraps? We got to shout out Arts and Scraps. Shout out to Ange, executive director there.
Ooh.
Amazing human. But Arts and Scraps is a secondhand craft store. So,
oh God, I'm already obsessed.
You can buy all of your sewing notions for like less than $10. Like you can buy a sewing machine from Arts and Scraps. They have a bunch of them.
Really?
Room, and they have basically like it's $8 to fill a bag, and the bags are like they're big.
We're going.
It's crazy. It's like, and the first time I went, so Breezy's been DJing there. He's got this like reoccurring gig, which is amazing.
That's so cool.
I'm like, pay him to go be in a crafty place and just like set the vibe.
He's DJing at a craft shop?
Yes.
What?
They hire him like once a month. And I'm like,
are you serious? That's so cool.
For everybody involved. Like, this is great. But
that's so funny.
His first gig there, they usually hire him on like a big sale day. So his first gig there, it was like $8 to fill a bag and like $5 fill a bag from the fabrics. It was like a huge fabric sale.
Damn.
It's everywhere. So me and his mom, who used to sew a lot of her clothes, she was like, you need to learn how to sew. And I was like, I have a sewing machine. And she's like, why don't you know how to use it? And I was like, I don't know. And
it's intimidating.
She was like, you need to learn. We're going to figure this out. You're going to match how much I spend here. And I was like, okay. We spent $100.
And it's $5 for
when things are like 5 cents.
Wow.
For 5 cents. So literally, I have so much fabric. Wow. From that. And I still go and they have like all kinds of like secondhand patterns, all the vintage patterns, so if you're looking, and patterns are expensive. So
yes.
3 cents, 5 cents, 2 cents. I'm like,
oh my God. That's insane.
Take all of them and fill this bag. I literally stuffed a bag to the brim of patterns, and it's now sitting in like this huge luggage bag because I put all of my sewing stuff in luggage bags because they have wheels.
That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So it's crazy. We need to go.
I would love to.
We'll get your next project completed. Well, I need to get my next project completed too.
Yeah, that's my struggle right now has been I am so busy. I don't have time to I'm so busy. Don't have time to sew.
Yes.
What's that? I was just gonna say I just got something from Regeneration.
Yay!
Super cute mock neck, black, longer, kind of like tunic sweater with like gold threading through it. So cute, but it's like a little bit too big, so I wanted to take it in. And then I wanted to add like almost like a feathery cuff to it and to the bottom so I could wear it for like New Year's. And when I got my machine out, I was like, I'm gonna try and fix it. Oh, I think I fucked it up even more. It's bad. So I'm like, it just tears. It just like the tension's so messed up on it that it's like the tension meter is broken. So I'm like, damn it. So it's just sitting in my bedroom and I'm so stressed. I tried to hand sew it. What a joke. So hand sewing a knit is really, really hard.
I love this. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's why I've been going to theater lately. I've been going to see a lot of Broadway musicals because I'm like, it gives
the costumes,
the excuse to get like just over the top, like wear like 7 different furs if I want to, and the drama, and then like the costumes. So like we're always looking for people to come with us.
I love going to the theater. I love to go to the theater.
Some people are not into it. I'm like, I'm gonna saw Frozen on Broadway, and they're like, cool.
No,
like,
I would love it.
Also saw Mrs. Doubtfire. I have seen like this year. It's just like I'm on a mission. I'm like, I want to see every single one.
I haven't been to a play in years, actually.
Like
We
two.
used to go, we would have like a girl, my mother-in-law and my sister-in-laws, we would have like a girls' weekend every year, and we'd go to Chicago and we'd see like a play when we go there. But God, I think the last time that we did that together was probably in 2000. Trying to think what year my niece was born. She's 7, so 7 years ago, probably.
It's
Yeah.
so Wicked's coming to town.
Who is?
Wicked.
Oh, so is Santa Claus. Just kidding.
Yeah. I saw the
Stupid.
Grinch. That was cute.
I did see the Grinch, and that was a really cute play. It was so well done, and the costumes were so fun. It was
They were
good.
so fun. I was like, I want to be a Who like today. Like,
Yeah.
I need to do this.
Take me to Whoville.
Enough about fashion. Let's talk about Monarch Coaching, passion to purpose, the community, and then whatever third job. Because I feel like I want to hear all of that.
Yeah. Okay. So Monarch, right now, we are kind of in a transitional period in our lives. So we just launched in January. So it's almost a year that we're like, we started our business in August of 2022, but we like launched it in January.
Sure.
But we are still, that's like a figure shit out kind of year, your first year as a business owner. So we did a lot of trial and error. We had a couple clients, got really great feedback, but a lot of the requests and a lot of the like, oh, I wish that you offered that. I would use you if you had that, was online courses, which we have both Erica and I have experience in building those. I just wanted to do more like in-person workshops and like one-on-one coaching when we launched, but now we're in the thick of building a bunch of online courses, which is not easy, but I think it's going to be a lot more fruitful. And I think the cool part of that is it's going to be a lot more passive income once we start to like actually have them built and everything. It's just a lot of work up front.
Yeah.
So if anyone has ever built online trainings, it's a lot of work. So we're doing a lot of writing. What we're doing is voiceovers and live videos, like live video, not like this live, but like just ourselves talking and stuff. So It's been a lot of writing scripts, reviewing scripts, voice recording, creating like cartoon video scenarios, filming ourselves talking, putting this all together, and then putting it into our website. And so that's been a whole learning curve, is like doing all this without like, we did this at the company we worked for before because Erica and I came from the same place.
I see.
But we didn't do it like to the extent that we're doing it now. You know what I mean? Where we're putting it on our own website and we're promoting it ourselves. That's the stuff where it gets a little bit tricky. I am a instructional designer. I am a leadership coach. I'm a leadership trainer. I'm very new to being a business owner, and that's a whole different world. It's a different job, totally different job. So I'm giving myself some grace this year that I'm learning how to do that. This is a learning opportunity because I am one of those people where I'm like, I need to be good at everything I do. And I'm not very good at this right now. And it's stressing me out.
What part is challenging you? What part do you feel like you're like, I'm not used to this? Because it sounds like a lot of the things that you've done before.
The sales aspect and proposals and like trying to find clients has been to be very vulnerable. That's what I'm struggling with, because I am very much not a look at me, here's my thing, like buy my stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like doing that. So that's one aspect where I feel like I could probably, and Erica and I we're very similar and we're like two linear people. We're very aligned. She's been amazing. She runs all of our social media. So anything that you see from Monarch Coaching Co., Instagram and Facebook, and most of our LinkedIn posts are from her. Nice. And she does a really great job with that. I think we need to get a little bit more focused on the actual proposing of what we've got built. So we have this amazing emotional intelligence online course. It's a 2-part course. It's a self-paced course, and it's got 2 different classes within it. Yeah. And each of those classes comes with a 45-minute one-on-one coaching session. So you'll do this online course, then you'll schedule an online like a virtual coaching session with Erica or myself to kind of talk about what you just learned and how you can implement that on your team or in your role, whatever you're doing right now.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. There's a lot of resources that go with it. There's a lot of team building exercises that come with it. And I'm like, right now I'm like telling you all about this because I'm so excited about it, but I don't know how to go out into the world other than doing this and be like, here's my amazing product. Like, buy it for your leaders.
What might be an interesting route, and I only say this because I'm in the thick of it, but like the co-working industry is a growing and new industry. And there's a new co-working space that pops up every other month.
I'm noticing that.
The people that work inside of the co-working, the people that run the co-working spaces need emotional intelligence so badly. When I first started at Bamboo, I remember my first day, like I went home crying because I was like, did they hate me? Did they not like me? Like we were only 30% capacity. Now we're at 100%, but it was like people walking in, looking through me, asking me for coffee, like ordering me around. And I had to change the culture of the space. You know, we were downtown Royal Oak, new business. It used to be like a luxury furniture store. So people just walk in and park. It's a lot like retail, but I think the industry of co-working doesn't fully understand what they're looking for yet and how to train their people to be really good at it. So reality is, for a really good community director or community manager, they need to be good at retail. It's basically retail, except you're selling rental, you're selling a membership. So you have to be good at retail, you have to be good at sales, you have to be good at long-term relationships because you want these people to renew every year and you see them every single day. So building those real relationships without crossing a personal boundary, it was really challenging for me. And I'm meeting new people who run co-working spaces pretty often. And they have either like the hospitality side, but not the people management side. Or they have the people management side, but not the hospitality side. You'll be like able to like run programming and make it jump. Like you got to be able to make that place feel lively because then people will pay for memberships. But I feel like the struggle for people in my position or things like that, because a lot of co-working spaces, it would be just me. In my position, I have a full-time employee and a part-time employee. We've gotten to that space, but most people are doing it by themselves. So they're alone. And they're managing all of these relationships where they're technically like working for them, but they're not. Interesting. So I say all that to say, like, you should reach out to co-working spaces. You should go in, say, like, I'm offering this program. We're focusing our energy on community managers, co-working spaces, because I've met a couple that just need help. They need help. They need a team. They can't afford a team. How to like work through some of these interpersonal problems. And I feel like it's all emotional intelligence.
That's so the foundation of Monarch Coaching. We focus on what's called transformational leadership. That's where we got the title of Monarch. And it is totally focused on emotional intelligence. You can't do any of the other things that we're talking about without EQ. And that's like one of our biggest selling points, but it's also something where the people who need it the most are the people who never want it.
People that can't get, like, I feel like at least in the co-working community, a lot of it's small business owners, and then they hire a manager that's just and then they just walk away. It's not in my scenario, but I've met a lot of people who are in that. They're like, I feel like I'm on an island by myself, just floating. And I'm sure that their leadership or their owners would give them, buy a course for them, but they're not willing to get them an employee or like a long-term. I think it's at the top that's the issue because they're looking at the bottom line. I'm like, you need to invest in your people because if you invest in your people, they'll bring people. Like,
that's like the area of focus that we have is more like that frontline leader and people who are either newer to leadership or maybe they're just very young and they don't know how to lead people necessarily, but they're good at their job. And it is very prevalent in every organization I've worked with and worked for that the senior leaders, and it's not that there's a lack of caring necessarily, although sometimes there might be, it's just a lack of time and prioritizing their leaders and holding them accountable. And that's what we do, and that's kind of what we would do. We don't want to necessarily replace that relationship, but we would go in and be able to coach and train and hold those leaders accountable so that they can actually do their jobs really well and be held to the same standard, so that these senior executive levels can focus on the business and not have to necessarily worry about that frontline leader who is truly, in my opinion, they're in one of the most challenging positions because they're stuck between like a rock and a hard place with, I am these people's they report directly to me. So I have these people problems, but now I also have to focus on business needs. And that's a really hard combination to meet in the middle and make, we're not about making everybody happy. You can't do that. But there's a fine line between being a very good, strong, empathetic leader and like holding people very highly accountable so that they can actually do their jobs but be respectful at the same time. It gets very complex, but that's what we're here for. And that's what we do. We offer the one-on-one coaching, the conversations. It's almost like therapy for these leaders. You know what I mean?
We need it. Okay. So offline, I'm going to pitch you doing a workshop at Bamboo, because I feel like a lot of these small business owners are in that place where they're like, I just hired my first employee who's going to be out here doing my sales or my recruiting. And it's like, they're green, like super, super green.
Yeah.
That's all I can afford, So it's like, okay, let's invest a couple dollars here, invest a couple dollars there, but we'll talk about that later.
I like that. No, I think that's going to be kind of like our best sales pitch is we have to just do it so people see it.
Exactly. That's the part I'm scared about. Like, I'm thinking, and I might ask you about this later too. I've been working on a course that I want to host in person about confidence and personal image. And like a lot of people that are around me are like, make it evergreen, do it online. And I'm like, I have never done any of these things. So I need to see if I can hire you to help.
Yeah, no, I'm all about making things evergreen so that you don't have to keep redoing everything that you do. Cause that's something that I get in the habit of. I like new things. And so Erica is wonderful. She's like, just copy and paste, just reuse it. Stop redoing everything. Just let's reuse it and just tailor it to what, no pun intended, tailor it to what we need for that client. Like make it a little bit more specific to that client.
Yeah. But I get distracted by new shiny things. I'm like, oh, new shiny thing.
Yeah. I love doing stuff from scratch, which is like annoying when you're in learning and development because you have to start just making things that you already have and just tweaking them. But I'm a new shiny type of person, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. So you said you had a third job that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So, okay. I actually have 3 part-time jobs. One of them is I work, right now I'm just seasonal employee for Shinola, which is a really cool company to work for. Honestly, I have my birdie watch on right now. And I love working there. It's retail and I kind of have a little bit of PTSD from retail. So I'm like, I'm going to do it through January and then I'm done. So that's where I'm working right now. I haven't been doing it lately, but I'm a contract worker for pop-ups for Rebel Nell, the jewelry company.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah. So I also have my Rebel Nell piece on too.
Hey.
I'm repping today. I'm really
repping you are.
So that's really cool. I really would just go and host a pop-up for a couple hours and explain what the amazing company and organization does. So I could give the whole spiel just because it's like second nature now, but very cool company to work for. But I think my favorite job that I have that I fell into because a friend of mine works there, I work for and Nathan's doing it too, for a warehouse that is like a music and entertainment merchandise distributor.
What?
So they get all of the merchandise for a bunch of different artists. And it's like it's shipping and receiving. So I just package a bunch of stuff out. I work specifically, and I'm not a huge Swiftie, I work specifically with Taylor Swift's merchandise.
What?
It is unreal how much different shit this woman has for sale.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
What is the weirdest thing?
There's I don't even know. Like there's clocks, there's pajama sets, there's a backpack, there's teacups. shit ton of ornaments, like over 70 different kinds of ornaments. There's like I don't know anything really about Taylor Swift, so not a big Swiftie. I don't not like her. I just, nah.
Yeah.
But from one Taylor to another, I can respect what she's doing because she's a great
Right.
businesswoman.
Yep.
I don't know. I feel like there's so many weird things. There's like just a cheap rain poncho that just has her face all over it. That's weird.
Right.
Like earbud cases. There's so many different things. I'll have to try and think of like the weirdest thing that I found because there's over 1,000 different pieces, 100%.
My God.
It's so crazy. So that's all I do. Like tonight from like 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., I'm going to go to this warehouse and I'm going to package up probably over 1,000 units of Taylor Swift merchandise.
Wow. And you have a Swiftie? You're like, what? Are you getting drawn into the pandemonium?
I think it's pushing me further and further away, to be honest, because I just am like,
her
the capitalism is blowing my mind that she spends so much money on getting all this shit produced and it's cheap and it's not great. Like,
people are buying it.
People are buying it in like drones. It's crazy. It's really insane.
Okay, so you actually do have 3 part-time jobs outside of your businesses. So like, how?
I don't know. I was thinking that yesterday. I was like, all of the things that I did yesterday, like I woke up, I did laundry. Me and Erica worked a little bit. I worked for about 3 or 4 hours on Monarch stuff.
Yeah.
I went grocery shopping. I worked at Shinola for 5.5 hours. I came home and I baked cookies. I don't know. I do a lot of things in my house.
Is it the like the doing a bunch of different things throughout the week exciting, or is it like just out of necessity that you have these like not committal positions? Like,
well, I will say like the part-time jobs are definitely out of necessity because my 401k money's gone now and I'm not getting unemployment anymore. Right. So that part, like when the funds started dwindling, I was like, okay, well, I'm making very little money with Monarch right now, manifesting very good things in the future, but I need to be realistic. Yeah, it's a build-up year for me, and next year, this coming year, will probably still be kind of a build-up year for us. Mm-hmm. But so I'm being realistic for that. So I did my initial first part-time job was retail. I actually went back to Banana Republic for a hot second, and then I was like, this is too much for me. I worked there for so long, and I'm just like, no. Love the company again. I just was like, no. So, and then the warehouse job came up, and that's actually pretty decent money for a part-time job. It's much more than retail is. So I'm going to probably stick with that out of necessity. And then Rebel Now is just fun. It's a fun,
I love it.
And it's a really cool local brand. Yeah. And the women that run it are amazing.
And it's like one's internal. You don't really have to do a lot of like peopling. The other ones you can like get out there, meet people in the community.
Yeah.
Like I see. It makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah. Like one's kind of social and the other is very like, I'm just doing my own thing all day.
Yeah.
Like you kind of, I only do it for like 4 or 5 hours. So I do, like I work 5 nights a week pretty much. And then my weekends, I'm either working with Shinola a couple days or like a couple hours, but I have like my Sundays are off. Like I don't do, we have other things like social stuff that we do on Sundays, but it's pretty much an off day for me. So I make sure that I've got some time.
Right. You gotta rest. You gotta watch your cartoons with your hubby.
Yes. Yeah, we're overdue for some cartoons, honestly.
Yeah. There's a lot of good ones out there. I can make a whole bunch of recommendations, but
yeah.
I love that. Okay, cool. We like that hour.
I know.
Flew by.
That did fly by.
I'm like, I have so many more questions, but we'll just have to do a part 2.
I'm totally here for it. Yeah.
Appreciate you. Okay, what's one last piece of advice that you have for the people watching?
I'll tell you what my theme of this year has been, which is just be patient with yourself. Because if you feel that something is the right thing to do, it is the right thing to do. And I have second guessed myself a lot this year, especially financially.
Yeah.
But I still feel like I'm going to be in a much better spot. It's just good things take time. So just be very patient and just be persistent because what you want to happen will happen if you work hard enough for it. And you're consistent. Yeah.
I love it. Where can people find do in all of your businesses and all of your shenanigans.
All of the shenanigans. So if you want my own shenanigans, you can follow me at Taylor Miller-Goulait on Instagram. I love posting stupid reels and stuff like that. So those are always fun. That's kind of also how I decompress, is I like to just make silly stuff like that. But for Monarch, we are at Monarch Coaching Co. That's for Facebook and LinkedIn, or Facebook and Instagram. LinkedIn, we're at Monarch Coaching Co. Detroit. And then Passion to Purpose is Passion to Purpose Community is Instagram and Facebook. And we do have a Passion to Purpose page on LinkedIn as well. And then if you want to reach out to me personally, you can email it's taylor@monarchcoachingco.com. But yeah, or you can DM me on Instagram. I'll take a DM. Yeah.
Take a day. I love it. Tay, thank you so much for your time today. I feel like this is going to bubble into a beautiful friendship.
I 100% agree. Yeah.
We have in common. It's crazy. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for getting up early and getting all glammed up for me today.
My pleasure.
You and my friends watching. This was the Let's Glow Show. My name is Amanda Sweet, the Creative Fairy Godmother. We come every week talking to amazing people. We are taking the next 2 weeks off, but we'll be back. So stick around and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Have a great one. Bye.
Bye.